Good morning, everybody. I'm Larry Jacobs. This is Pre-K-12 Education Talk Radio. It is Monday. It is President's Day, February 20th, 2023. And thanks so much for being with us today. And you might be taking a day off, and I can't blame you for that. It is President's Day. Go buy a mattress, for goodness sakes. Okay? They're on sale. All right? And we're celebrating President's Day here by going to Canada today. We're going to have a nice conversation with my good buddy, Robert Martellaci. Robert is the CEO of Mindshare Learning, and he is, as far as I'm concerned, the grand guru of Canadian ed tech and really Canadian learning. And he really has his finger on the pulse of what's going on up there. Okay, and also he's going to give us a report. He really is an expert on the educational technology. And he was just down at FETC, which is the Future of Education Conference, which was just down in New Orleans. And we're going to talk to him about that. We're going to archive the show at ace-ed.org. That, as you will know, is our home website for the American Consortium for Equity in Education. We put all our podcasts over there, and all of our news is over there. Most importantly, our magazine, our online journal, which is called Equity in Access, Pre-K-12. That's over there, and if you click on the cover, you'll be able to read and see a wonderful magazine. And we honor all the equity winners this year. And there's a big section in there, by the way, on Canadian education, which we always put in. That's a big thank you to Robert for that. And so go over, see what your colleagues are doing in equity. Maybe you'll be an equity winner next year. And we hope that you'll nominate as we start that nomination process. We'll keep you posted on what's happening there. But everything's there at ace-ed.org. Check it all out. And without further ado, on this Monday morning, let me bring on the one, the only Robert Martellaci. And here he is. Hi, buddy.
Larry Jacobs, thank you so much for that kind introduction. And happy President's Day and Family Day here in Canada.
And what day is it in Canada? I'm sorry. Say that again.
Family Day.
What is Family Day?
It's an excuse to celebrate your holiday, except making it more relevant to us, and it's a newer holiday. We just felt we needed a holiday, in the doldrums of February.
Well, so do you have the day off today?
Yes, we
Not
do.
You, but the country.
Oh, the whole. Well, yes, we're working. As you know, Mindshare never sleeps.
Well, I know that Mindshare never sleeps, but the whole rest of the country is off, right? For Family Day?
That is correct, yeah.
Yeah.
And in the U.S. as well, the stock markets are closed, I presume?
Yeah.
What?
President's Day.
Wow.
And it used to, I don't know if you know this, being Canadian and all that. It used to be, I think it was Washington's birthday. We used to have 2 days off. We used to have Lincoln's birthday, February 12th. And then you'd have Washington's birthday, February 20th. And somehow they combined them to become President's Day and gave us 1 day off, which really is not that good news, but it's been around for quite a while. We lost a day off.
A day off is a good day. And how are you doing?
I'm fine, as a matter of fact. I'm just fine. Thank you very much for asking. All was well for the weekend.
We missed you at...
Yes? Go ahead, please.
We missed you at FETC.
I missed FETC, and I'm sorry I did. But actually, that's why I wanted to talk about, I always say this, and I hope people go over to MindShareLearning.com. There's really a lot going on in Canada, and Robert has his pulse on it. But the other thing Robert does, which is really cool, he gives us the pulse of Canadian education, but he gives Canadian education the pulse of American thoughts and actions, the industry, et cetera, because a lot of the Canadian schools look to American products. And I hope some of that's vice versa as well. Okay?
Absolutely.
So it's important that, obviously, hands across the border, if I may. All right? And by the way, Robert, I have to tell you, for someone from another country, you speak English beautifully.
Oh, you're too kind, Larry. I've always enjoyed our interactions, and the media room was not the same without you.
Thank you.
With your classic, brimmed hat, looking like a cowboy from the West, but you reside in the beautiful part of Maine.
I do.
In the remote forests of Maine, and you hone your craft for like, how many years is this for you now? I know this is about Canada,
about 15
but
years actually, to tell you the truth.
15 years.
Yeah.
It took 15 years to be a legend in ed tech for Larry, and he
I
truly is.
I was a legend long before this. Okay, I'm legendary. Look, I'm like the rock, the ancient bird. You're the phoenix.
Well, I love all that you do for education, and your newest publication is phenomenal. So, without further delay, why don't we jump into the top 10 EdTech trends that will shape education for 2023 that we presented at FETC, and we announced it there. And as well, we were at ERDI US in Palm Springs last week, and I had the honor of presenting with Kathy Hurley, another legend,
she's great.
50 years in EdTech.
Yeah, that amazing lady. It's unbelievable. So let's hear what's going on. And by the way, I want to say it again, mindsharelearning.com. It's really a good website, everybody. Please check it out. Or mindsharelearning.ca. But however you get there, it's a great website. And great.
You got it.
Magazine.
I did tweet this out so you could retweet it. You are on our Twitter now, and I announced that we were speaking. And this is live, if I'm not mistaken.
It is live. Although we archive it, okay, so people can listen anytime, and we archive everything over at ace-ed.org.
If it wasn't a holiday, I might have simulcast this on Mindshare TV, for another time.
For another time. Next time. You're on a lot. Next time. Okay, I want to hear the top 10 trends, Robert. What's the top 10 trends?
Could I ask for a drum roll? Do you have a drum roll? All right. Number 1, artificial intelligence, AI, comes of age with ChatGPT in 2023.
Is that number 1 or number 10? Wait a minute. Is that number 1?
Yeah, we're starting. Yeah, number 1.
Yeah.
And, we've long talked about AI, but really, there are pivotal moments in our lifetime in education where we can define technologies. Like I recall in the 70s when I got my first Texas Instruments calculator, and it was banned from my math class.
Of course.
And it's no different than ChatGPT or the iPad or the computer. Anytime an innovative new technology comes along, generally speaking, change is not something that's always welcomed, especially in education when it's going to impact students, and it needs to be. I actually, did a little inquiry myself, and I asked ChatGPT, how can this tool be used in education? And it just, within a minute, just printed out, 4 or 5 really good points on assessment, lesson planning. If I'm a grade 4 teacher and I want to do a lesson on the solar system, it will prepare the lesson for you with the rubric and within, seconds. So it's not all about, plagiarism. It's about digital literacy.
Of course, that we have to understand, and that's exactly actually the way you introduced that struck me, because you said ChatGPT comes of age, and I'm not sure that's the right phrasing, because it takes a long time for something to come of age. This is new and exciting, okay, and scary, I might add, to a lot of people.
Yeah.
All right, and all those things are legitimate. All right, but in my opinion, and you correct me if I'm wrong here, it hasn't come of age. Because it's brand new to all of us, okay? And we don't know how to use it yet. And your example of the calculator is perfect. Every math teacher was scared to death, okay, to allow kids to use a calculator. But now you don't have a math class without one, okay? So in other words, the calculator, so to speak, has come of age, okay? But ChatGPT, it's new now. Where are we going to go with this thing? What do you think, really?
Well, Bing, Microsoft invested $10 billion in it, and they launched a big platform with ChatGPT integrated. I think, it'll find its place. I was speaking with some professors. I played hockey on the faculty team at York University, and we were discussing some of the challenges. And there are tools that will identify if a student submits an essay having used this platform. So not unlike some of the other essay scanning tools to prevent plagiarism, it's about using the right tool at the right time, Larry.
Yeah, exactly.
And one of the things,
go ahead.
I was going to mention that. No worries. I share in this top 10 that's available, as you alluded to, on MindShareLearning.com or .ca, a teacher's prompt guide to ChatGPT aligned with what works best. So this is a professor from Columbia University at Heft Educator on Twitter, and she put together a wonderful resource to help guide teachers. So we always try to, in our top 10 trends, try to share a resource that helps educators make sense of, the trend.
And make sure and make sense of what's going on in the world within those trends.
That's right.
Tell you, it's very, very important. And I think also while we're on the subject, I think it's going to really affect, and I hope it does. Okay, and they're usually the last ones to take up the charge. I hope it affects teacher education, because if it makes life easier for teachers, okay, really, it's a blessing in disguise, because that'll be a miracle, because that's the number one complaint. There's not enough time to do everything. Boy, if
that's right,
machine can do it for
teachers
you.
back time. This 100% will give teachers back time. It's going to help with assessment. It's going to help with lesson planning. And so I did say artificial intelligence, AI, comes of age, not ChatGPT coming of age.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I just wanted to
my bad. Thank you.
Rephrase that. So how am I doing so far?
You're doing. You got an A+ because you corrected me, so that's good. And you did say AI comes of age. Then you referred to the chat box. So that's
number 2. Drum roll, please. Number 2. Cybersecurity and student data privacy, a crisis. The silver lining is student career pathways in these areas. And my daughter is a case in point where she's working for Zscaler and doing well and fine and gainfully employed. Thank you very much.
I'm glad to hear that. Okay, she's still, this will get her out of that. She's out of the house and on her own now,
and
because of this,
and off the payroll.
There you go.
That is the most rewarding part of all of that. But just to hone in, one of the districts in the Toronto area, Durham School Board, was hit with a breach, and it shut the school district down for 2 days. No phones, no internet. So, we've got a lot of work to do in this area, and school districts are so vulnerable. So, there are some great resources. The Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity, CISA, leads a national strategy. I'm sure there's great resources as well in the U.S., no doubt. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, every organization, company is required to have a cybersecurity strategy in the U.S. We have not gotten to that point, which makes a lot of sense. And there's some, on the silver lining front, ICTC, which is a not-for-profit that promotes digital skills, has a Cyber Titan competition for teachers and students to bring awareness. And so there's a lot of opportunities for kids to learn and pursue pathways to careers in this area.
It's really fascinating, and I love you talk about a silver lining. All right, we're worried about cybersecurity, but that also opens up a whole world of jobs. Okay,
Yeah,
and that's so important. I was talking to CETA, our State Ed Tech Directors Association, last week. You know that, and
Julia,
you know, exactly, Julia. I was talking to Ellen Ullman, who's new there. She's their new director of communications. Okay, and she's wonderful. And I was talking to Ellen, and we were talking, and she said, you know, that's the big issue. That's the number one issue that's facing the ed tech directors. Okay, is cybersecurity, privacy, and all that, and it is really scary, and it has to be controlled. Okay, and you mentioned that I think you said Durham School District or Dunham.
That's correct.
Okay. Was that Durham ransomware that hit them, or was it just a hack?
Ransomware.
Did they have to pay?
Well, they didn't divulge. But you know, we have as co-founder and CEO of C21 Canada, Canadians for 21st Century Learning and Innovation, we now have a CIO alliance, and we had a national conversation on the state of cybersecurity to bring insight into this. So we're constantly trying to provide, professional learning to the sector, and that's what we try to do on a daily basis, Larry.
Yeah, it's that's one of the scarier things. And you know what really scares me? I mean, besides the obvious, is that ransomware. Schools are on a tight budget anyway. And I just read that one of the school districts is right around here cut about $1.3 million out of their budget this year. All right, and then you add in ransom. Give me a break. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, because you need.
It's frightening. It's frightening.
Number three.
Yeah, go ahead. Go number 3. Well-being and active learning, and teachers and students continue to make progress in settling back into classrooms with a lens on well-being. It's a crisis as well, and there was a notable report that was released by British researchers highlighting the importance of kids getting outdoors as a means of nurturing well-being and healthy, active living and learning that we talk about. And you live in a beautiful region of the country, and as do we. And there's always opportunities for kids to be active, and whether it's yoga or nature walk, for both teachers and students, because teachers have been really challenged in this area. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with the company Lou from Quebec, just north of you, across the border in a little west. They've got this interactive projector that you put in the gymnasium where kids actually do learning modules, and with bouncing balls onto it's like you're in the game. It's like a virtual video game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. No, actually, we're going up to Quebec City in the end of April, beginning of May.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. We're going up for a few days with friends. Cool. I love it up there.
It's what for your magazine. This is very relevant, and I think it would be pretty cool to connect with the guys from Lou in Play Lou in Quebec. I can put you in touch with them.
Thank you. I'm going to let you do that. And also, there's a group down here I learned about called the Daily Mile, which is a similar thing. They're very concerned. I shouldn't say it's a similar thing. Yeah. They're very concerned. It's the same type of thing. They're very concerned about the well-being, social, emotional level of children, and teachers. And you got to get people outside and doing stuff, and we've lost that, again, because of the pandemic to a great deal, but we were sitting on our fat asses long before the pandemic. So the pandemic's a good excuse to get out. You're one of the people who's actually not on their ass, He's actually going out playing hockey 3 times a week, ice hockey, Yeah. Which I'm very proud of you for doing that, I have to tell you,
Thank you.
And
thank you.
I mean that. But we keep these kids confined and in chairs, all day, or just even moving around indoors in class. It's not healthy. And post-pandemic, et cetera, it's time to make a change. All right. And so I like what you just said. That well-being, which we call social, I think it's the same as social emotional learning. We just got to take care of it.
it fits into that same category, and wholeheartedly agree with you. All right, moving along.
And
we might get to 5.
How do you spell Lou? You said Lou from Quebec, but how do you spell
it's L-U.
L-U. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving on to number 4. Experiential learning to future-proof student resiliency with the 7 C's or 4 C's or 5 C's. Coming of age with the focus on, this is right up in your wheelhouse, diversity, equity, and inclusion, digital literacy, and citizenship lens. Lots to unpack there, but the notion of future-proofing systems and developing teacher and student skills are vital to our country and your country's success and well-being. So, I mean, talk to me, Larry, about the inspiration of your magazine, because this is like on point for what your mission is.
Well, it really is. You know, our magazine is all about equity and access, and we've been talking about that for years, long before we started the magazine. And it's easy to say it, but a lot harder to do it. Okay, and we got to make sure. And a superintendent, I think it was Mary Templeton out in Washington State, she who's a wonderful lady, and she said, you know, we used to be doing it great for a lot of kids, but now we got to do it great for every kid, and therein lies the difference. And I like your term future. Did you say future proofing? Is that what you said?
Yes. Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Future proofing? Yeah.
Well, it's just,
what do they mean by that?
Well, making kids, you know, helping them anticipate what's coming. So if you have those essential skills embedded in your DNA and you are prepared for what we're preparing kids for a future we do not know. That's so the more pliable or durable your skills are, right, when it comes to digital literacy, citizenship, character, critical thinking, creativity, and innovation. When you have all those, and computer and digital skills, when you have those skills embedded in your students, they're more agile and prepared and future-proofed.
That's right.
So they are agile and adaptable.
It's called future ready, and we just got to be ready for that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go back to what I said a few minutes ago. I just want to collect my thought for a second. Is that all of this requires a major, major, major change in teacher education. Okay? It can't be the way it has been. It cannot 100%. Be that way anymore. Yeah. It's I don't want to say, but I want to say this the right way. We got to bring in other professorial points of view, neuroscience, cyber technology into teacher education. Okay, it's not about, if I may, John Dewey anymore. Okay, as important as he was in his day, that's a different 100%. Time zone.
Yeah, I can't underscore this one enough. I think this could be easily number 1, really, at the end of the day, because it really is about the student at the center. Yeah. And further down, we might have to do a part 2 if we might only get through 5 of these today, but is this 30 minutes or is it an hour long? We got to have another 6 minutes here, my friend. Okay. We can do another part 2, you know, but because these are all so important, right? Anytime. Say it again. I'm sorry, I talked over you. Yeah, no worries. But, you know, to just wrap a bow around this one, you know, to your point, students need challenge-based learning, problem-based learning, discovery learning, whatever you want to call it, so that they are problem solvers, that they are not regurgitating rote learning. So with that, why don't we move on to number 5? Okay, I just want to say one thing and one comment on that. And that is that, and I've always felt this way, we need, for every kid, that's an extremely important phrase, every kid, we need, it kind of jumps on what you just said, we need extremely rigorous education, okay? Regurgitate, but have them think, okay? And make it hard, and you know what? Kids like that.
I don't care who the kid is. They want to be challenged. Their minds are wide open. All right? But regurgitation is not fun. Okay?
And to that point, we are launching our 15th edition, and it's in your magazine, of the Canadian Schools of the Future Student Invention Challenge. We've tweaked it. Instead of innovation, we tweaked the verbiage to invention, because I think innovation is a little too esoteric, if you will. And so invention is more concise. So it's really about kids being problem solvers, and we've given away over $1 million in prizing in the last 15 years.
Good for you, man. You're the best.
So I feel good about that.
Well, one more before we go.
We're going to do one more, and number 5. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Emerging agile online learning models. It's about using the right tool at the right time. Having come through one of the most transformational periods in our history of modern education, there are many forms and models of online learning that have emerged. And, crisis learning was not elegant. Having a grade 2 online learning, essentially parents needed to be by their side. And the media was, mainstream media was super critical. But listen, without any of these tools, and kudos, could I give a shout out to all the EdTech solution providers and the teachers who stepped up, who had never used tech in their entire career? Who would have imagined, Larry, in our lifetime, 100% of all educators use some form of tech-infused pedagogy?
One of the good things that came out of the pandemic. One of the few good things.
And one of the challenges, as per Dr. Steve Jordan's University of Toronto psychologist, who has his own EdTech assessment company, talked about the threat of the great snapback. He coined that phrase that you've probably heard.
I have not.
Dr. Steve Jordan.
I like that. I have not heard that phrase.
Well, it didn't make it into Maine. It didn't make it into Maine, the state of Maine.
Didn't make it into Cornish, Maine, anyway. I don't know that phrase, but I know what it means. But you talk about it.
Well, teachers, and believe it or not, there were unions that were advising teachers, this year, going back to in-class learning, to not focus on technology. And So, it was a real conundrum, but some teachers, it's like, a carpenter with a toolbox. You can't tell them not to use their toolbox. It's using the right tool at the right time. It's a
lot easier to use a nail gun than it is to use a hammer when you're putting on a roof. Yeah.
I did a kitchen rental, and I project managed a kitchen rental, being Italian background and having construction in my DNA.
Yes, tiling.
My toolbox was very well utilized, and so, but we do share some great resources from Dr. Ron Austin, Dean Emeritus at York University, who is an expert on online learning. In this report, he came up with 7 models, and Dr. Tony Bates, another legend in online learning, we shared his Teaching in the Digital Age 3rd edition. So there's some great resources to support teaching and learning that are free. And, we go from, fully synchronous to blended to high flex to blend flex to traditional blended learning, flip classroom, right? Classroom, send the kids to discover and problem solve, and then come back and share that with the class. Storytelling, on that note, one of the, and I make this a bonus one, storytelling is the rage in 2023, because that gives students an opportunity to really share their learning, right? And that's the whole concept around flipped classroom or problem or challenge-based learning. And for teachers to assess students in a storytelling model. But that's number 5, and I would love to get your thoughts on that one as we prepare to wrap up, because it's never enough time.
We are
with
going
you,
to
Larry.
wrap up, and that's the whole point. Yeah, I'm going to say it this way: student voice. Okay, we have to put student voice in there, and that's storytelling. The teacher is the facilitator. The teacher is the facilitator, and I don't know where it's going to go. We'll go back to the beginning with the artificial intelligence, but we got to make a change. You and I are going to go, but I'll call you later today, and we're going to set up the next show and go through the next 5. Is that okay? Yeah, because I think we piqued our audience's interest, and we have. Thank you for helping me drill down deeper into this. I love that student voice. Larry, you truly are a legend. I'm grateful of our time together today. Thanks, Happy President's Day. I love having you on. You know that I love talking to you, and I just think you bring so much to the party. You always have. You're the best. You always have. Okay. And I love a party. Okay. Thanks, buddy. You take care. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. You too. All the best. Until next time, keep the learning curve steep. You got it, man. Thank you. Bye. Ciao. Okay, everybody. Oh, didn't mean to cut you off there, big guy. Robert Martellaci, MindShareLearning.com. And if you don't go there and learn what he has to say, you're missing a lot. We're going to archive the show at ace-ed.org. That's what we do. He does it at MindShareLearning.com, and we share everything together. My name's Larry Jacobs, Pre-K-12 Education Talk Radio. Thanks for listening.